Herzlich willkommen zum Themenabend des BVDW, der Fokusgruppe Bewegtbild. Ich freue mich, dass so viele heute Abend zu uns gefunden haben und dass ich auch so viele neue Gesichter sehe. Ganz toll. Hätte ich gar nicht gedacht, dass so viele neue, die ich noch gar nicht so aus dem Markt kenne, hier sind. Zuallererst möchte ich dem Business Club Hamburg und dem BVDW für die Ausgestaltung des Abends danken. Ist immer ganz toll, hier zu sein. Das ist eine super Location. Ganz kurz zu mir. Mein Name ist Christoph Henning. Ich bin Head of Video Advertising beim SPIEGEL-Verlag und verantworte die gesamte Vermarktung, die Videovermarktung der Spiegel-Gruppe auf allen Plattformen. Bevor ich jetzt die Speaker kurz ansage, ich möchte mich da auch ganz knapp halten, möchte ich ganz kurz sagen, was macht denn die Fokusgruppe Video, die Fokusgruppe Bewegtbild im BVDW eigentlich? Die Fokusgruppe Bewegtbild kümmert sich bisher vornehmlich um publisherbezogene und vermarkterbezogene Themen. Das soll aber natürlich langfristig nicht so bleiben. Das liegt einfach an der Zusammenstellung der Gruppe, die wir im Moment haben. Die ist nun mal sehr vermarkter- und publisherlastig. Wir haben auch einige SSP drin, aber auch die sind natürlich Supply-Side getrieben. Deswegen wollen wir aber heute mal die andere Seite beleuchten, nämlich die Content-Seite. Und deswegen bin ich ganz froh, dass ich heute Sven Christian, Head of Video bei Spiegel Online, begrüßen darf und Steve Langdon, Director Strategic Consulting bei Oyala. Und ich erhoffe mir, dass wir dann bei den beiden Keynotes, die wir ja haben werden, und danach werden wir ja noch auf dem Panel sitzen, dass wir Cases, die in Deutschland, die Sven vorstellen wird, wie klassische Vermarkter, wie vielleicht auch Broadcaster in Deutschland agieren, wie wir das vielleicht verketten können, wie wir das mal vergleichen können mit dem, was Steve mitbringen kann vom internationalen Markt, aus UK, aus US, von der ganzen Welt hat er Cases mitgebracht. Und beim Panel bitte nicht zögern, da Fragen zu stellen. Das soll eine schön angeregte Diskussion über Content-Distribution und die Content-Produktion sein.
Ja, schönen guten Abend. Auch von meiner Seite. Mein Name ist Sven Christian. Christoph hat mich angekündigt als Head of Video bei Spiegel Online. Offiziell heiße ich Leiter Bewegtbild. Beim Spiegel ist das noch so ein bisschen klassischer, haben wir das Deutsch gehalten. Und ich will ein bisschen darüber erzählen, wie wir Content anstellen und vor allem, was für Content bei uns erfolgreich ist. Und zusätzlich auch darüber, was für Risiken wir damit eingehen können in dem Versuch, viel Reichweite zu erzielen. Dazu später noch. Was ich tue, wofür bin ich zuständig? Ich bin 48 Jahre alt, ich bin seit 17 Jahren beim Spiegel. Ich habe angefangen bei Spiegel TV als Nachrichtenredakteur. Ich habe die Vox-Nachrichten als ganz normaler Redakteur gemacht, dann bin ich CVD geworden. Dann haben wir XXP, einen Fernsehsender gegründet, der relativ erfolgreich war, den wir dann später an D-Max an Discovery verkauft haben, der jetzt D-Max ist. Und 2006 habe ich angefangen, mich über Videos im Netz mich damit zu beschäftigen. Wir haben damals als Spiegel TV die Nachrichten für Spiegel Online produziert und haben den Fehler gemacht, den glaube ich alle gemacht haben, zu sagen, hey, wir machen einfach Fernsehen und packen das ins Netz und es wird schon funktionieren. Und Überraschung, es hat nicht funktioniert. Dann später habe ich mit Kollegen zusammen Spiegel.tv gegründet. Das sind jetzt die beiden Plattformen, die wir vom Spiegel als Bewegtbild betreiben. Spiegel.de produzieren wir Videos für Shortform-Content, Nachrichten, kurze Geschichten, und für Spiegel TV ist eine Plattform, ist ein Web-TV-Sender, der Lean Back funktioniert. Also der Zuschauer kann sich einfach lange Filme angucken, Dokumentationen. Die Längen sind so zwischen 7 Minuten bis 3 Stunden. Ich will heute aber vor allem davon ausgehen, auf diese Jagd nach Klicks, und die spielt bei Spiegel.de eine große Rolle und seit neuestem natürlich auch bei unseren anderen Distributionskanälen, nämlich Facebook und YouTube, aber dazu später. Wo kriegen wir noch mehr Aufmerksamkeit? Das ist auf YouTube kriegen wir deutlich mehr Klicks. Wir produzieren nicht extra für YouTube, wir haben aber einen Kanal und platzieren dort auch Nachrichtenvideos. Interessanterweise sind unter den Top 3 völlig andere Filme. Und zwar die. Der dritterfolgreichste Film auf YouTube, auf unserem Kanal, ist der Keukarpfenfilm. Der zweiterfolgreichste ist ein Wingsuit-Unfall. Und der erfolgreichste ist Roofing. Ein Film, der ist, glaube ich, 4 Jahre alt. Der wurde im Jahr 2015 noch am meisten geklickt. Da fehlt mir völlig eine Ahnung von dem, wie wir da besser mit umgehen können. Wir platzieren unsere Nachrichtenvideos dort. Ich glaube, unsere Abonnenten schätzen das auch, dass sie dort unsere Filme finden, aber es funktioniert, da YouTube ja die zweitgrößte Suchmaschine nach Google ist, funktioniert halt nach komplett anderen Regeln. Und wir diskutieren natürlich auch, meine Geschäftsführer fragen mich auch, YouTuber, die sind doch so erfolgreich, ne, mit Millionen Klicks und so weiter und so fort, macht doch auch sowas. Wir können es nicht. Ich glaube, wir sollten bei dem bleiben, was wir tun, nämlich was wir können, nämlich Nachrichten. Wo wir noch erfolgreicher sind, seit neuestem, ist Facebook. Wir haben seit Oktober angefangen, weil Facebook rankt ja Nachrichten und Videos, wenn wir einen Link platzieren dort, um Leute auf unsere Seite zu bekommen, wird es von Facebook in den Feeds reduziert. Sie wollen halt originär hochgeladene Videos von uns haben. Und da haben sie gesagt, wir beteiligen euch an den Einnahmen, die wir damit haben. Und das finde ich auch gut und darauf haben wir uns auch eingelassen und wir wollen ja auch experimentieren. Und die 3 erfolgreichsten Videos auf Facebook von uns, seit Oktober aber erst, ist auch der Terrorangriff auf Frankreich. Das ist Platz 3 geworden mit einer unfassbaren Reichweite, 4 Millionen erreichte Personen. Wirklich geguckt, davon haben es, glaube ich, 1,2. Komme ich später noch dazu. Das zweiterfolgreichste, das hat mich sehr gefreut, ist nämlich unser Videoblogger Jafar, der über die Flüchtlingsproblematik sehr persönlich bei uns berichtet in einem Videoblog. Und dieser Post war sehr erfolgreich, weil dieser arabischstämmige Mann bei einer Pegida-Demonstration die Leute gefragt hat, was sie denn gegen ihn haben. Und er wurde da übelst beschimpft und auch sogar geschlagen. Das war echt krass. Das finden die Leute bei Facebook auch. Der allererfolgreichste Film bei Facebook von uns, für mich auch komplett überraschend, ist eine Aktion von Abgeordneten, Bundestagsabgeordneten, die sich in einem Dinghy auf der Spree mal so in die Lage von Flüchtlingen reinversetzen wollten. Und da frage ich mich auch, das teilen die Leute wie blöd. Es hat 5 Millionen hat es erreicht. Videoaufrufe, also da muss man eben differenzieren. Videoaufrufe sind 1,5 Millionen, ersten 3 Sekunden. Also bei 30 Sekunden waren immer noch 421.000 dabei. Es ist wirklich im Moment für uns noch sehr schwer einzuschätzen, was das für uns bedeutet. Wie wir noch mehr Aufmerksamkeit bekommen würden, ist, wenn wir uns auf Sex und Crime noch mehr spezialisieren wollen. Also Miley Cyrus bekommt ihren ersten Porno-Einsatz, würde bei uns bestimmt auch sehr, sehr gut geklickt werden. Das machen wir lieber nicht. Krasse Gewaltvideos machen wir bei uns nicht und auch einfach nur sinnlose Tiervideos machen wir auch nicht, nur um der Reichweite willen. Und warum machen wir das Ganze nicht? Wegen unserer Marke. Vielen Dank für eure Aufmerksamkeit.
My name is Steve Langdon. I work for Uyala, which is the online video provider that specialises in monetisation, analytics and advertising technology. And I run their strategic media consulting team globally. Now, what that means is that we take a very technical company, Uyala can be very technical, and we try and really, our division looks at the business issues. So really, why are people doing business with video? How does it all work? We're very objective, we're non-technical. I'm about as technical as that microphone, so I'm not very technical. I put together a presentation today called Just One More. engaging your audience. Why is it called Just One More? Because that's what we all want. As publishers, as video on demand, as subscription video on demand, we all want our customers, our viewers to watch just one more video, right? That's what it's all about. And this is engaging people on online video is a lot different to television, which is where I'm from. Okay, these are the latest Ooyala video index charts that show the rise of mobile video. So you can see that phone video plays are in blue, tablet is in orange, and phone and tablet are in white. And you can see that we're now looking at coming up to 50% of all video views globally are now on mobile devices, okay? The horse has bolted, this has happened, this is now very mobile. What you can see here is the European video consumption by device type. So this is Q3 2015, so you can see France, Germany, Spain. And you can see that phone is up there about 40%, even up to, I think in Ireland it's up to about 60%. So it's massive. So people are really adapting their strategies as being mobile first. The interesting one we've just seen is connected TV. Connected TV's seen a resurgence because people are no longer using, there's about a 20% drop in people using games consoles to access online video. They're actually using games consoles to, guess what, play games. Whereas connected TVs like Chromecast and Fire Stick and Apple are starting to bite because really the broadband penetration is getting everyone to put their video on the big screen. 92% of US daily newspapers say that they use video on a regular basis. They use it in a myriad of ways, and I'm going to show you a few of them today. So what's the goal here? What are we trying to do? Well, what we're trying to do is we're kind of trying to push our viewer through an engagement triangle, okay? So at the bottom, you've got casual viewers. So you've got viewers coming from social media, those excellent examples we just saw from Sven and Spiegel. Is a perfect example of viewers that are funneling through from social media and sharing viral videos and news videos and videos of snakes eating things. The second level up is registered users, okay? So now you're getting a little bit more engagement, you're getting some revenue, and you're seeing some data coming in. So you could be taking name, address, you could be getting advertising details. So that's getting a bit of value back. But where we're all trying to get our viewers into is engaged and habitual. People that wake up and want to be a part of our brand. People that go onto an app, go onto our site, and the first thing they do is see what's going on. That's where we're trying to get them. So let's for a minute think about a paywall, because lots of people are doing this in a different way, okay? There is no right or wrong answer to this just yet. It's very much in the balance. There's your paywall in the middle. On the right-hand side of the paywall, you've got subscription video on demand. Now, the success measurement of subscription video on demand are the amount of new subscribers that you generate, how long you keep that subscriber on your service. Okay, so we're talking the Netflix model at the moment, okay? So you're talking how long you keep the viewer, and how many viewers do you have to get to counteract the number of viewers who left in the same month, because that's when you break even. The length of subscription obviously tells you how good your offering is, or how difficult it is to cancel in some cases. And what you're looking for is that predictable and repeating revenue line, constant revenue, constant revenue. What it doesn't account for is what happens in front of the paywall, which has a completely different success measurement when you're talking advertising video on demand. Now, this is when you're talking conversion of non-subscribers to subscribers by funneling them through from social media or marketing, referrals to site. You're starting to get some registration data, so you're trying to understand about them. You're generating revenue through advertising, and that is just through the roof, the revenue that is generated through advertising now, and it's getting bigger. And of course, this part of the paywall is all about brand engagement. It's all about reach. You saw the Sun newspaper in London that were on the right-hand side of that paywall. They're now on the left, okay? Because they want to get their journalism out to as many people as possible, and they were only reaching a limited number of people with a subscription model. So people are changing. So the answer is, no one knows. Everyone is experimenting at the moment, and you shouldn't be afraid of experimenting. We are the viewer, we are Michael J. Fox, and the media companies are Doc Brown. Okay, they're all trying to figure out what we're doing. So I want to run you through a couple of trends and concepts that we're seeing that will kind of inform the case studies that I'm about to show you. So first of all is content in context. Now this is when you deliver content differently according to what time of day it is, okay? So That yellow line is mobiles. Now, mobiles in most countries tend to peak for video consumption between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m., okay? Because people are watching them while they commute. The blue line in the middle is laptops and MacBooks, okay? Because that's people have a little bit more time in their lunch hour. They can procrastinate a bit. They can spend a little bit more time looking at a news article or some sports articles. And in the evening, you've got tablets. Tablets peak in the evening alongside connected TVs, and they actually go a little bit later than television prime time because people take tablets to bed with them. Okay? So what does that mean? Well, what that means is, I hated to use the example of David Bowie, but it was the biggest example of the week. At 6 a.m., at 6:30 a.m., you push out a 90-second headline. David Bowie's passed away, here's a video of the newsreader, or here's a video of his last performance. At 12 p.m, you change the website or the laptop website to say, here is a 15-minute tribute compilation to David Bowie. I mean, the music industry has been full of tributes to David Bowie, so you could fill that half an hour easily. But now you're taking and you're headlining longer form video at lunchtime. And in the evening, you can then go nuts with your tablet offering. So you could say, here's his Spiders on Mars tour, here's the man who fell to Earth, here's your longer form. So what you've done is you've looked at the devices being used and you've adapted your content, and the publishers that are doing this are doing it well. So if you look at the morning commute, you're looking at a morning headline, it's 1.5 minute short form, you've clicked on it. Imagine if that request could send what device you're on, i.e. Steve's on an Apple iPhone, and it's 7:40 in the morning, okay? Because then when you play that morning headline, not only does your next video discovery layer know what you're viewing, it can then offer you videos that are less than 3 minutes long because it knows you're on a train, okay? You just start to get simple things like that can start to change the way that you send your video out. If you're in the evening, between 7 p.m. and midnight, there's a documentary on a major news story and you're playing that and it's a 1-hour documentary, then why don't you surface videos that are tagged long form and trending videos that are in the documentary? Because you know that you've got people in that frame of mind, they're watching longer video, okay? I know it's a simple concept, but you'll be amazed what impact it can have. The thing you must do, is you must avoid isolation, okay? You'll never see a television station end a program and go to black because they want you to watch the next thing, okay? And we must think like that as video people, okay? It's just another screen. We never want someone to finish a video and not know what to do next because 99% of the time they're not on your site, so you need to maximize the 1% of the time they are. Apps. Again, the story is written here. You can see this chart that mobile web is only or mostly accessed by 18% of people that were surveyed here, whereas people that only or mostly use a mobile app are like 50%. So apps are definitely the way to go. The reason that apps are great for video is that you can incorporate push messaging on your app, which gives higher retention. It means people launch the app more, and it means you can start communicating with people. It means you can have a conversation with them, and that's what you want to do with your brand. You want to engage. And you can see by that chart there that you've got over 62% of an app user retention when you've got push enabled. When you've actually got push enabled, you get more people coming back because you've got a appointment view. And what we're starting to see now, very cleverly, is that some people are looking at preloading content. Okay, so while your phone sits on your bedside table overnight, you as a publisher can send down the morning headlines, okay? And then that sits on a phone, and then when you're on the train in the morning, you can notify them on the app that a video has been downloaded, and then they can play the video. And that's brilliant for places like London, where there's newspapers on the tube still, right? Because there's no signal down there. If you can be the publisher that has the video already downloaded in great quality, you're going to naturally engage people. And we're seeing some good advances in that in a couple of Silicon Valley companies that we're keeping an eye on. So what does that mean? How do you take that content in context sort of concept and apply it to what's going on. Well, I think one of the examples at the moment is the New York Times. The New York Times has something called mobile moments, okay? So when you go to your mobile app on the New York Times, it knows what time of day it is, okay? So it brings up a menu. And that menu isn't a complicated algorithm. That menu is in natural language. So it says, hey, good morning. What do you want to do? Do you want to follow a developing live event? Do you want to update yourself on something you missed? Do you want to help you plan your day? Do you want to stay connected? Okay, so it's like instant personalization, and of course it learns your daily habits, and you can include video in that. It's integrated and it's relevant. This is a very good example from where I lived for a long time, Australia. The ABC in Australia, which is the equivalent of the BBC in the UK, has a show called Good Game Pocket. It's a gamer's 15-minute show. And what they do is it's targeted between 12 to 24 years old, and they push it out to PlayStations and Xboxes at 3:30 in the afternoon, because that's when the kids come home from work. It's just simple things like that that are really kind of like changing how people consume because they're in the moment. What we're seeing at the moment is a lot of publishers that are looking at becoming broadcasters. I see it wherever I go at the moment. Publishers are looking at how they incorporate video in the best way to further their offering. Okay? So the first one is we've seen publishers that are gathering long-form content, okay? So they've got their short form that they're putting on social media, but now what they're doing is some of them are buying long-form catalogues or even building production and video skills into their journalism, or even acquiring aggregation companies to really push video on their site. There's an example here from Australia, news.com.au. So this is a page you've gone to from the opening page that now is showing you documentaries related to what's going on. So this was when Tim Peake, the British astronaut, went up to the International Space Station. So there's a documentary on space there. There's, of course, a documentary about Syria. Very topical things, but they're using metadata to choose what they show the viewer based on what's happening in the news. And, of course, what you can do then is you can roll the mid-rolls. You can start getting them past 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and start to roll the mid-rolls, okay? So you've just changed your publishing experience into a broadcasting experience. And the same with the Sydney Morning Herald. You can see that there was an article on Beijing in the paper, and now they've got documentaries on, a half-hour documentary on Beijing architecture. Bloomberg's a good example of someone who I think are doing a good job at the moment. Bloomberg have taken their offering, this is kind of their video screen. It kind of has a good discovery section at the top when it plays a video, but what it does is the story, people want to read the story as well, it changes the story along with the video. So you've seen on some sites that you go to where you watch a video and it's in context and then it rolls to the next video, but you're still seeing the old news story. That's a bad experience. So Bloomberg have really thought about how they provide information in line with what video they're showing. Yeah, it works a treat. And this is a good one. This is a really good example of how video can illustrate a story. This was the Washington Post did this. This is Joshua Bell, who's an internationally acclaimed virtuoso violin player. Okay, this guy fills symphony halls, and he did like the night before. And what they did was they sent him off to perform in an underground station. Okay, and they wrote a long story about the fact that 1,600 people walked by him, but only a few stopped to watch. Now that story was great, but it meant nothing without video. They filmed the whole thing from CCTV cameras, and every single person they had a story about, they made sure they put the video alongside. Okay? So they let the video tell the story, and that's just so important. Because when you take video and it can augment and it can even sort of like increase the power of a story, that's a wonderful way of using it. The sticky video players are getting more prominent. We like these a lot. So this is a news site, David Bowie News, by that newsreader there. If you scroll up to read the story, that video goes whoosh, and it goes up to the right-hand side. So you're still viewing the video, but now you're showing that you want to read the story, so the story's scrolling as well. Again, it's just giving you what you want, okay? And that's what it's all about, give them what they want. I think, anyway. I think one thing that's going to be big is 360-degree video, which will then become virtual reality. We're seeing increased investment into 360-degree video, and what we're seeing it used for is to really put people in the point of view of someone who's watching that. I think it's great news for publishers because you can really sort of get behind the story. So how about getting the point of view of a presidential candidate when they're in a debate room, right? Or an American soldier, or a sports camera angle, or an amazing building being built. Okay, it's quite staggering. And if you've not seen one of these, here's one I did earlier. So you can basically, these are divers. It's just one single camera that takes all the angles. It's very clever, it's very immersive. It's what virtual reality is, will replace, but I think 360-degree video is a trend we'll see increasing. Another one we're seeing, particularly in the US, is making your news local. Okay, so you've got local TV stations that are only broadcasting in one area, and they're not really viewed very well. So what this company's done here is they've aggregated video content, and they basically have an app that says, "Hey, where are you?" So it's got a geosensor on it, so it knows you're in New York, it knows you're in Chicago, it knows you're in Buffalo, and then it gives you all the news localized for that area. Okay, so it's like a personalized local news service. And we're seeing a couple of those pop up, and local news is big business, but the thing they haven't got is reach, and this really helps them reach out, and it really helps people from their area stay in touch with their local news as well, because they can force it to say where they are. So localization. Now the Beaver County Times you probably wouldn't put alongside innovation, but you would in this respect, because what the Beaver County Times have done in America is they wanted to outdo the local TV stations. So they built a journalist video hub on Roku TV. Okay, they had their own kind of Times newspaper thing rolling, but they built their journalist video hub on Roku. And they said, how are we going to get people to watch that? Well, they gave it away. They gave it away with a subscription. They said, we built the hub, here's all the video on it, and guess what? Here's how you can watch it. Okay, so when you subscribe to the Beaver County Times, which I know a lot of you are about to, you can get a free Roku. And then we're seeing some trends in what people can do with long form to short form, okay? So say you've got a full news bulletin of 30 minutes with lots of articles in it. What you can do, just so you can upload it quickly, is you can break it into stories, okay? So just like when I was in television, you can do an in point and an out point, and then you can either share that with social media, or you can even run a mid-roll before it. So if you've got a 45-minute piece of content that normally would generate one pre-roll, all of a sudden you can generate about 5 or 6 pre-rolls from it. And there's a company in London that films concerts at Wembley Stadium, and they just want to get first to air. They want to get the very first one that puts the concert up. But what they can do here is they can get it up first of all, but they can also have this ability to share it really quickly with everyone viewing. Quick on social media. These are the social media video statistics in Q1 2015. I think this is Ogilvy. So you can see YouTube, you can see views per video, the average engagement, the average video length, and how many videos reach 1 million views in a month. Now that's important because look at the difference between our friends at YouTube and our friends at Facebook. Facebook is really kind of dominating the engagement, and it's best for maximizing views. And you can see from the top general topics how it changes from Facebook to YouTube as well. So Facebook's great for engagement, as we all know. Insights for Facebook on video. Obviously Facebook encourages conversation, pop-in views and engagement. It's you need short and sharp video for Facebook. The overall aim of Facebook is to get you watching something and then get you watching something else. Okay? They don't want to keep you on the same thing too long, so we need to sort of understand that and move with it. There's big drop-off on Facebook after 2 minutes. 1 minute 28 is the average length of a video on Facebook. Okay? I wouldn't go much above that. The thing about Facebook is videos are auto-played without sound, so your first frame is critical. It's got to kind of like be the hook. It's got to get people into the video, so title cards work really well. Here's an example of one that works well. So you can see the story is illustrated with captioning.
You ain't no Muslim, bro.
again, if I run that again without sound, you get exactly what you got out of it with the sound, okay? Because there was nothing, apart from the guy when he shouted, that was the only bit that kind of was better with sound. Apart from that, you can run that without sound and get as much out of it. And that's really important for when you're making video for Facebook. Sports brands use Facebook very differently from YouTube. One of our customers is Arsenal Football Club in London. Not many Arsenal fans in here, probably. YouTube, they do as a very light touch, okay? So YouTube is designed to be an introduction to Arsenal Football Club, so a selection of the quick headlines, and the goal is to push people through to their main site for the premium video, okay? Facebook's different for them, because Facebook, you've already shown that you like the brand because you've clicked your like button, okay? So you've already engaged with them. So what they can do now is they can look at deeper engagements. They can look at manager and player interviews and the audience kind of like getting interactive and polling. Yeah, that video is a goal that Arshavin scored last season, okay? But because they've asked a question, they've asked you to engage. YouTube hasn't got that, okay? YouTube, you engage if you want to. Facebook, you can really form engagement. And that's why social media expert is one of the must jobs, okay? Because everyone is after this engagement, asking the right questions, getting the right engagement. The Harvard Business Review, I'm also going to point out, okay? And the Harvard Business Review is occasionally quite a difficult magazine to read. I try and get through it, but there's occasionally a difficult article in there. What they do is they now do video articles on Facebook, okay? So they'll illustrate a piece with video. So this piece,
unlike other rich countries, the United States has a long tradition of not guaranteeing paid time off.
But they summarize it.
But on top of
in a video.
that, we've recently developed a reluctance to use the vacation time we do get. Before the year 2000, the amount of vacation time taken was fairly consistent. But something changed. Americans today take almost a week less vacation on average than they did then. And in 2014, 42% of Americans didn't take a single day off all year.
You've got a whole brand new
We're not only taking less vacation time, we're also putting in more hours on the job. For instance, in 2006, Americans worked an average of 11 hours.
Finally, I just wanted to talk to you about video data, if I've got a couple more minutes. Using video data, because video data is absolutely essential. Now, I come from the television world where we only found out how well our show had done in the morning, because then you find out what audience you got. We're so lucky in online video, and one of the reasons I moved across is because we can analyse every single interaction that someone makes with one of our videos. But the thing is, a lot of that is disappearing. You say to people, do you have a data strategy? And they say, yes, we collect it. Well, that's great, you collect it, but what do you do with it? Because how you action it is the most important thing. Now, at Uyala, when someone watches a video, we collect events. We collect a lot of events, okay? So the player loads. Well, that's important, because it means that the player's loaded and it hasn't gone wrong, and we don't need to call the technical team. A viewer's clicked play. Well, that's important because we want to make sure that the thumbnail was engaging and the text was engaging. A viewer has got through the advertising. Well, that's really important because it shows how compelling the content proposition is. A viewer's got to 25%. Great, they're engaged. A viewer's got to 50% mark. Great, we could run a mid-roll there. A viewer's clicked replay, that's good, it could go viral, and a viewer completes. I mean, that's just a small sample of the data that we take from every single video. And what you can do with that is amazing when you talk about what content you should license. We've got a company in Asia Pacific, who actually use our video analytics to help them decide which presenter to put on their online video series. Okay, because they try out presenters and they look at the drop-off rate throughout the video. So instead of audience focus groups, which are very, very expensive, they use video analytics. It's just simple things like that that are changing how people do business. So if you've got a business question of what are my total views per video plus the advertising, well, the metric, our product's called IQ, so it's in there. We have video performance by device, by operating system, by geography. So the result of that, what action can you take? Well, you can analyse all the content played into each territory. So if you've got a high-performing discovered video, raise it on the homepage, okay? Let more people find it. If you've got a new asset you uploaded last night and it's underperforming after 50%, well, you might want to go back to the edit team. You might want to say to the edit team, hey, we're getting a big audience drop off at 3 minutes. Is there anything we can do to edit this down, or maybe even split it into 2 videos? That's a content decision. You can't do that on TV. You can only do that with online video. What videos are showing drop off before content begins? Well, that's really important, because if you've got high drop off and you spent a lot of money on a piece of content, like a lot of people do when they produce their own content, just temporarily stop the advertising on it. Yeah? Let's take the handbrake off and see whether it's the content or whether it's the advertising that people can't get through. Okay, so it's things like that. And just finally, this is something we call discovery, okay? So in television land, you have lead-ins, which program is best to lead into the news, which program is best to lead out of the news. Well, guess what? Now you can do that on online video as well, okay? Because you can see from, have a look at that third video, new footage from ISIS, okay? So you can see 3,000 of those plays there. 3,000 of those plays were from a discovery tray. It was from a recommendation. But more importantly, 11,500 of them led to more videos being discovered afterwards. So it's a good lead-in. That video is doing really well as a lead-in to the rest of your catalogue, so why don't you boost it up the rankings? Okay, so you can see just on that one page alone for a major media company who I'm not going to name in the UK, there's 90,000 discovery interactions on the first page. So that's kind of all I've got, and I'm out of time, but I hope that gives a little bit of insight into what the team does. And really, my overall sort of advice would be, keep doing this, keep experimenting, because no one knows the answer. No one knows the answer, whether it's subscription video on demand, advertising video on demand, what videos are working well. I mean, look, you had the Bataclan to a snake eating things, right? I mean, what do people want? So that's me, that's how to get in touch with me, and that's my my Twitter. Thank you very much.
All right, Steve, you talked about how you can, evolve casual viewers to daily returning, engaging fans. When you compare your international experience and all the cases you see over the world, how can Spiegel or other German publishers make that make possible in Germany? How they can create a best case for German news users?
Well, hello? Okay. Look, again, anything I say would be sort of advice, right? We're all experimenting, we all don't know what's going on. So that's my caveat, first of all. But from what I saw from the websites, I think you're going about it the right way. I think it looks clean, and it gives you the ability to explore video once you've clicked onto it, right? And that's, we've talked about tonight, is the most important thing, making sure that people watch just one more. I think the ad experience is critical. I think it's really important to get the ads right, avoiding long ads on short clips. I worked with a company in Australia who were doing tennis clips, and they were doing tennis clips that were like 20 seconds long and putting 30-second ads on it. Okay, it's just, it doesn't really work. I think a lot of publishers are taking the standard 30-second TV creative and loading it onto online video. I'm not sure if that doesn't need to change, but that's not easy, right? Because it needs to change all the way down from the creatives making the advertising. Online's not TV. And content in context, I think, change the way that maybe the home pages are displayed in the morning, lunch hour and evening, according to device. But I really like the thumbnail images and the descriptions. I remember that, because some people do very small descriptions that don't tell you anything. Some people don't care about the thumbnails, but I thought that was particularly well done. I'm not going to mark it out of 10.
Right. So when you talk about ads, what do you think about the post roll then? When you say just one more, I don't know, I think from my point of view, most of the viewers we have, they skip out at post roll and they just watch one video, maybe search for another one, but they skip out of the video when they see the post roll. So do you think maybe there's a technical solution for it, that you, let's say, skip the post roll, do a kind of a revolver play, send out the next content video and do another pre-roll right after it. Do you have any experience about this
I think
topic?
the most important thing is to give people the option, right? Because we work with a company and they wanted to find out when they should put a coming up next icon up, right? Because if you can show someone what the next video is going to be, then you're not just offering a post-roll, you're offering them an experience to stay engaged with your brand. So we worked out the average length of their short-form video and what percentage of that people were getting to before there was a drop-off in viewers. And before that point, this brand then started to put a coming up next video. And that massively increased their engagement. So I think there's different ways of looking at that problem. What do you think, Sven?
Well, we're still working on continuous play, where we're trying to find out. On Spiegel.tv, on that web TV station, we have mid-rolls, which you know better, but perform really well. The people stay with us. They're just cut in by an algorithm. We don't it just cuts the movie in half or in more than one part. In the news, on the short form, we're just working technically on continuous play, and then for us it's really interesting how long is that announcement of the next video, for example, and we'll manage to try things out, maybe with your help then.
Steve, you talked about the significance of subscriptional video on demand and compared it with advertised video on demand. At Spiegel, my job is the whole advertising side. Now, for you, Sven, the question is, why do we just do advertised video on demand? Did you ever think about, using a paywall? Did you think about doing a subscriptional kind of thing?
Yes, we thought about it, but we won't do it. Not a paywall. What we want to do is selling. We want subscription, but we don't want to sell a video, but comfort. We'd like to put up a system where people are asked, "Do you want to pay to get rid of the ads? Yes or no?" And then if they pay, they get rid of the ads for the whole day, for one movie. On Spiegel.tv, that would be a perfect feature. Technically, we're not there yet, but we're going to introduce that this year. We're going to try it out, especially with long documentaries, because the feedback from our viewers is, of course, that's what gets on their nerves most. So we're trying to make a pay system to sell a feature, more comfort, rather than a paywall.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of looking at it, because paywall shouldn't be like fixed here and fixed there. We've got a few companies that look at seasonal use, okay? So say you're a football team, you don't maybe have as much quality content in post-season that you do in season. So how do you keep someone that's paying £5 a month? Maybe you reduce how much they pay for 3 months, okay? There's different things, and that's why it's very important to have a flexible payment model where you can make immediate changes based on behaviour, because if you got to put yourself in the mind of your consumer, but everyone knows that. But for even more so from when they're paying money every month. Yeah.
Well, sport rights is a good example, because they have exclusive rights which are people ready to pay for. We on the news side, we don't have really exclusive content to sell. Okay. So then our decision is sell comfort rather than exclusive content.
I have to stick one more time with the whole advertising side, because that's my business. But you talked about how you can use Facebook and YouTube to drive your video strategy, to drive video consumption. And I'm always wondering how or why the editorial side uses so much of Facebook, because we do not earn one dime with it. So do you have like a kind of strategy how Sven can implement and distribute video with Facebook and other social media channels, where we still get not all of it, but where we can maybe get them to our side and earn some money with it?
This is a big question in the industry at the moment. This is a big question. How do people do this? There are going to be people who you are not going to get through to your site. And the sooner we all realise that, the better, right? So I guess the question comes then, would you rather they were on someone else's publisher site who was on Facebook, or would you rather be on Facebook yourself? So it becomes one of brand and engagement. And it becomes the question that The Sun have asked, and even a football brand I work with who are on a subscription model have moved back to an advertising model because they just want to get the reach, okay? They've gone for... It comes down to your business goals, right? If your business goals are to make as much money as possible, then absolutely you need to cut off Facebook and stick on your main site and get your marketing working. But if your goals are brand and engagement and worldwide reach, then of course social media is the way forward. What would I do at the moment? I would exploit each of them for the strengths that they have, get the engagement on Facebook, and maybe what we see a few of our customers do is tease videos on Facebook, okay? So almost like clickbait. I hate clickbait, but you know what I mean. It's like for the full story, for the full announcement, for the full State of the Union address, go to our website where it's streaming, okay? The other thing you can look at is live. We're seeing people do a lot of things with live now. So if there's a live event going on, you can have it on your homepage where it will say live, and you can point to that live event from Facebook and drive posts and do marketing. It's a very difficult question.
In that context, what do you think about Vine? What do you think about Instagram? What do you think about the whole other social media channels? Because we just talked about YouTube and Facebook. I know they're the biggest, but what do you think about the others?
Yeah, I mean, it just comes down to how you create video for each one, right? I mean, you have to look at who's on what platform and the attention span and whether the phone is vertical or whether it's horizontal, which is the big one that everyone's looking at the moment. Do you produce vertical videos? And if it's a Vine, is it a brand spot? Is it a sting? Because you can't really get a huge message through in 15 seconds, but you can get a tease through. Like, you know, is it a 5-second brand sting, like a brought to you by kind of thing? It's absolutely all the platforms have their uses. I'm not the world's best expert on Instagram and Twitter, but certainly the way that you develop video absolutely should change. It should be in isolation, each platform to each platform. You should have a single video and then have experts that look at how Twitter works, how Facebook works, how YouTube works, and then cut the video up according for each site. What do you think?
But in this case, you need many people to do that. You need personnel, and we can't really afford that. Instagram is getting big, we know that, but the problem is you can't link from Instagram. Yeah. That's why our decision is we'll wait for Instagram. When there's a possibility to make a conversion from viewers from Instagram to our site, we'll try to use it.
Maybe someone in the audience has a good idea on that.
Do you guys have any solution for it? Are you using Instagram? Are you using Twitter and Vine to drive video? Or who is? Let me ask it like this. No one?
Whose kids are using Instagram?
Yeah.
Mine do.
Yeah.
I don't know what the conversion of this is, but what I watched the last few weeks was that Obama was announcing his last final State of the Union, and then he was like, see the link in my profile or something. So at least, I don't know the conversion of this, but at least there was this small possibility to get users from Instagram to somewhere else to watch the video.
Pretty close question to this. When we talk about producing video, Sven, I've seen that we are using Watch It for quite some time now. Just to introduce, in case someone of you don't know Watch It. Watch It is like a really smart but it's very easy tool to, compare some still pictures, do some tone with it, and you have a video right afterwards in minutes.
Actually, we call it a video roboter, which turns text into video.
Or text, okay.
Yeah, you upload your text and it offers you media which fits to that text, and you can just produce a video without doing anything. We don't use it as that. What we do, we produce assets. because they have the media they pay for are Reuters, are AP, AFP, Getty Images, Bloomberg. So they have really lots of material. So what we do is we upload our text and find, for example, assets, like a scene or a soundbite, and then the text editor is able, with very few steps, very simple, to produce a video without any video knowledge at all. And that's what we use it for, and it works pretty well.
Yeah, so it is really a success story, because most of the time when I see the page, I always think, well, I want like really highly or really good video which is produced and with a lot of cameras and a lot of interviewers and.
Well, the material there is produced well, and it's not bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you never heard about it before, right? We just talked about in our call, and
oh no,
or did you hear?
Yeah, I'm interested to know how much you use alongside your production. I mean, you have like studios in production. You produce your own videos. How much of that do you use Watch It for? Or is it like, does it subsidize it, or does it take a big chunk of it?
No, not really.
Yeah.
No,
So
it's a small
and do you build
part.
them for social
Actually,
media?
I dream of every text editor, because at Spiegel Online it's so perfect. We don't have to make videos about everything, because we have fantastic text journalists writing perfect text. What I dream of is that they look for assets for their texts.
Yeah, yeah.
It makes you can describe a soundbite, or you can but it's a lot stronger if you show it. And Watch It is one tool where they could look for and produce it very simple by themselves, and I don't have to spend my colleagues on those jobs.
And Christoph, I very politely disagree with the comment about video quality. I think that was maybe true in the past, but I think video citizen journalism has really taken the quality of video out of the equation and really put it into the heart of the story. I think it's all about the story. It's about what a video tells. People aren't so worried about the quality of it, unless, of course, it's a Hollywood or a television production. I think in some cases, videos that are shaky, a bit Blair Witch Project, actually get more views due to the authenticity of it. I think particularly publishers use that a lot.
Yeah.
Right. So Sven, how do you do it that you use this user-generated content and make it premium? And
Well, what we do, we try to tell a story with it, and we'll try to extract the story. What's the story about this? For example, this storm. Actually, it's only a storm, but we asked the guy how he felt when the storm was going. Well, what we do is Skype interviews, because we don't have the budget to travel so much. So we Skype that guy and we ask him, "You filmed that scene with this storm in front of your house. How did it feel?" And then we also put some information, how long it lasted, what the destruction was, and then we try to put it into context, or else we could post it like it was.
Yeah.
But that's what we do. We try to put to add information to it.
Right. I have 2 questions left. What really interests me is, how do you guys see the future of connected TVs, OTT, connected TV, smart TV, all the plays we have there? What's the future of it?
Wow.
Well, you should have asked me 3 years ago, and I'd say tomorrow it's gonna explode, but it hasn't.
But it hasn't.
It hasn't. Actually, I myself, I start to use connected TV more and more and more right now.
How are we defining connected TV? Because the definition of it has changed in the last year or so. Are we defining it as a manufacturer like Samsung, who has a interface that you can plug into the wall if you buy a new television?
Yeah.
Okay. Or are we defining it as someone who's got an Amazon Fire Stick, someone who's got an Apple TV, someone who's got a Chromecast?
Well, for
because
me,
when all the stats, all the stats are going up, to me they're changing the rules on the stats.
Well, for me, I summarize like all smart TVs with it. That the other one would be all the OTT devices, say Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and all the dongles, the sticks, right? That's what I summarized under it.
So how many people in this room have a smart television? And by that I mean a television that's connected to the internet in some way. Look at that. I mean, that answers the question, especially on this side of the room. This side of the room's lagging a bit. But yeah, I mean...
And how many use the
how many use
the
it regularly?
connection?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So it's being used. That's good. Look, I think broadband's...
So you think the future's bright?
Broadband's had a great deal to do with it. People haven't perceived they have the broadband bandwidth to like get these things working. But I think that problem is now just about at an inflection level where people are coming home and switching off their broadcast TV and switching on their connected TVs, which is great. I see a great future for them. The BBC at Christmas time saw connected TVs as the number one thing to access iPlayer. Okay, that's massive because last year it was tablets.
Yeah.
So it's absolutely. People are flocking to the big screen for all their premium content.
Okay. So, and the last question would be, I guess all of us are interested in it. If you could give just one advice, maybe even to smaller publishers, what would be your advice for 2016 and 17 to drive video distribution?
Wow.
If you had just one advice, just one sentence.
One sentence.
Or two or three sentences.
I'm a consultant. I don't do one sentence.
Okay.
Well, my advice would be don't look for distribution and technical stuff. Look for content. That's the central part. As showed for the examples, it's not the camera type, it's not the techniques to edit things, it's only the content that counts.
The stories.
The stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the music industry has a lot to offer the future of the video industry. Okay, the reason I say that is that because of the reduced bandwidth of music's been transforming itself for 12, 15 years, right? Video is now at the point of inflection, the point where we're kind of doing that as well. But look at Spotify for the future of online video. Look at Pandora. Look at personalized linear channels. Look at your favorite celebrity or your favorite, your favorite sports star showing you what he's watching or she's watching, so you can watch it alongside. Okay, so I think the music industry can certainly help, having a look at the lessons that they've learned. Keep experimenting is my main lesson at the moment. It's like, make sure you've got flexible payment. Make sure you know exactly what you're trying to achieve. Are you trying to achieve a predictable and repeatable revenue line, or are you trying to reach out your brand to as many people as possible? That's a critical question that you need to answer. And I think we need to watch out for a Netflix and subscription video on demand backlash. And the reason I say that is that I don't think studios are going to hand over their content quite so easily to the big boys now that they've seen that cord cutting is a real thing. Yeah. Okay? I think that studios are going to start withdrawing a bit of content from Netflix and say, you know what, why don't we do this thing? Why don't we do this? And even this morning, I saw CBS and Time Warner have announced that they're working on a standalone service, and what they'll do is they'll take their content off Netflix. Okay? Yeah. The genie's out of the bottle. People get it now. Netflix was first, but I think everyone else is... I think there'll be some competitors coming up. That's a very long answer to a one-sentence question.
No problem. All right. Are there any questions out of the audience?
So it's a question to the both of you. You mentioned content, and at the unit video, we had a lot of chats about what's so important. We speak tech stuff, analytics, and so on. But what is it? Content, right? And during the last 10 years, we got a lack of content. Where does it come from now? Is it TV production companies which produce own content on own license and start to distribute it? Is it the YouTubers going off YouTube? Is it Watch It? Who else provides content in the next 12, 24 months?
Yes. Well, we use a mix of all. We use the content that our TV production company produces, Spiegel TV, professional for TV. We use user-generated content, with very much success, as you have seen, and we produce it ourselves. We go ourselves with cameras out and look for stories, and that's a mix. We try to deliver the best program to our audience.
You're looking at them. Everyone in this room is a potential content creator now. Okay, it's not about having premium. It's about story. If you've got the story, you're going to be able to get it out there. Okay, there's companies like Storyful, if anyone's aware of Storyful, but they're quite an amazing company that actually tracks videos from their inception and looks at the propensity, looks at whether they will go viral or not. Okay, so it looks at the point of where they might go viral, and then basically it invites publishers to pay for that content. Okay, so it's an amazing world. I'm very glad to have moved on from TV into this amazing world, because I think we're only just getting kicked off.
Any other questions? Okay. Dann gehe ich mal auf Deutsch und würde dann das Buffet eröffnen und noch ein schönes Networking wünschen. Dankeschön.